Now just the boss remains. So let's finish him off. He's pretty pathetic, actually. It was broken ages ago, and your face will be too in a few seconds. And on a somewhat related note, that boss is named Slayder, and interestingly, a generic boss with the same name appeared in Fire Emblem 2 or Gaiden. Just a random note. I'm not sure there's any connection between the two. But after you've dealt with the Axe Knight group, well, of course, there's these guys too, and they seem to prioritize heading for the castle for obvious reasons. But they're in the perfect position for me to rush in and finish them off. And now, yes, after you eliminate the Axe Knights, Andre and the Beige Ritter will start moving. So they're your next opponent, and they're a lot tougher. But first, time to take out these guys before they even get near the castle. Yeah, hero weapons are actually pretty nice for getting rid of something you don't want to take a counterattack from. Right, now I hope Azel has better luck against this general than against the last one. So far, so good. Perfect. Much better than last time. Right now, all we need to do is get rid of that other mage, and the rest of them shouldn't pose a threat at all. Yeah, I've learned from experience not to let them gang up on Tailtube. Of course, if she's promoted by now, she can handle these guys, but that's somewhat unlikely unless you use her a lot in the last chapter. But essentially what I'm trying to do here is get her enough experience from these enemies so that she can promote. And I'm mainly doing that just for, well, completeness sake, and also helps for the experience ranking. I'm not really going to be using her much, but it's just cool to get as many people promoted as possible. Keeping Claude on hand unless anyone gets injured. Moves very slowly though. And now, when dealing with these guys, the main thing is don't attack until you can get first strike on them. Do not move anyone into their range, except perhaps Levin, as I'm going to do now, because 1, they can't hit him, and 2, they will tend to avoid him. But basically, focus on moving your characters as far forward as possible without getting into range of them, because they have the same weapons as they did last time when they were NPCs, and yes, that means they all have hero bows. which is very, very bad, especially when they pick on someone who can't counterattack. Even worse when they all gang up on them at once, as per that Yatsuke Make thing I mentioned before. And it's a good idea to keep Sylvia close, because you will want to take out all of these guys in one turn if at all possible. Especially if Fury is nearby. Because, well, yeah, Pegasus Knights getting attacked by hero bows is not so good. Right, everything looks fine. And we'll probably be able to get to that village before it's destroyed. Now, I guess it's probably the time to say this, since nothing really that eventful happens in this enemy phase. That last village that got attacked, if you notice the cliff sort of going down from there, that's actually home to another secret event. Unfortunately, this one requires Arden to be paired, which, let's just face it, is not going to happen. Because, frankly, just about all his pairing options are terrible. Either terrible or outclassed by Lex. Really, yeah, there aren't many pairings where Arden is actually good. That Earth Sword is pretty good in the fact that during the enemy phase it allows Lachesis to be virtually invincible. Well, don't get too cocky though, because if it breaks, she's in serious trouble, and it only has 10 uses. But before it breaks, yeah, she is pretty much invincible in most cases. Ah, good, it seems that Andre has moved a bit further up than the others, so he's exposed himself to most of my characters. That's good, because he has a very high leadership stat, and you'll want to get rid of that as soon as possible. Especially seeing as his generic henchman guys all have hero bows. Yeah, I need her to get some experience, but I need to be careful who she attacks. Probably better to go over here. If she gets a bit more, she might be able to handle herself in the arena. And then she'll probably be ready to promote. And a promoted Jamako is not all that bad as a secondary archer. I mean, he's pretty good, it's just the fact that Bridget should always be your primary archer. For obvious reasons. Aiden needs a bit of experience too, but like Tell2, I'm not really going to be using him all that much, so it's mostly just for experience rank. Speaking of the experience rank, you actually need to get 1,000 or more level ups in order to get an A rank. Which might sound ridiculous, but it generally means if you get as many people to level 30 as you possibly can, you'll find that it's actually achievable, although I'm not sure I'm going to get it. Yeah, another good thing about Lachesis, the fact that she has an A rank in all weapon types, means that she can use a lot of good staves. Well, I haven't given her a good staff here, but very useful to have a frontline fighter who can also heal. Yeah, I want Tilchu to finish that one off. And hopefully next chapter we will take on Andre.